When Nicole Narig was 26, life took an unexpected turn. She went through a divorce after being married for a short period and wanted to go to grad school, but couldn't settle on a major. Overall, she just felt stuck.
So it was a real kind of tumultuous time. I didn't feel very grounded or, like I knew who I was and what was really going to move me forward. It kind of felt like I had started to build some stuff and then that was kind of crumbling beneath me as well with the ending of this relationship. And so it just on a whim, I picked up a knitting kit at a hobby store. It was just like $15 or something. Teach yourself how to knit. There was just this big skein of chunky blue yarn and a little pamphlet that kind of gave step-by-step instructions for how to make a hat and a scarf.
Little did she know, but this small impulse purchase would change her life. At the time, she didn't know anyone who knitted, so learned by watching YouTube videos. She took to it instantly, and before long, her friends were getting handmade scarves and hats.
It was a way for me to give people something of myself, I think, and figure out something about who I was in that. And I think that even that helped me decide to go to grad school for psychology, that recognizing that I was making things for people, that I really cared about people and my relationships and everything.
It sounds small, but knitting gave Narig purpose. Now a clinical psychologist, she often recommends the hobby to her clients and explores its deeper meaning in her book, In Her Own Hands, Women Weaving Their Stories.
Weaving, knitting, crochet, cross-stitch embroidery, quilting, sewing. Gosh, there are so many beadwork, leather work or tanning hides and stitching on top of them, a lot of things. And there are many more. I don't cover macrame, for example, and like things that I just couldn't fit in, but there are so many rich types of textile work.
Textile work that gives meaning to people's lives, like Olutosin Adebowale, a Nigerian woman who empowered other women in her village through sewing.
She came to textile work following an abusive incident with her husband while she was caring for a young infant and asked her husband for help. And her husband responded by beating her. And she kind of had this real crossroads moment. Her family was telling her, all Nigerian men beat their wives, just accept it, deal with it. She had to go to the hospital for the injuries that she sustained. And she had this doctor at the hospital say, do not put up with this. You will die. This will end badly for you. And, raise your voice, speak out, leave him, or demand better treatment.
Even though Adebowale had a degree in English and was an educated woman, she felt defeated and worthless. She wasn't earning enough to support her child, so in an act of desperation, went to local tailors and asked for any leftover fabric scraps. At home, she stitched these pieces into small bags and pouches to sell on the side. As time passed, she sharpened her sewing skills and began building intricate fabric paintings that caught people's eye. For her, sewing gave her a new perspective.
If I can make something beautiful out of nothing, right, then I can make something beautiful of my own life, and I am worth something. I'm able to make things of value, therefore I have value. And she started this entire program for women in Africa, mostly in Nigeria, mostly who are coming from abusive relationships or who have been ostracized by the community and branded as witches, helping women learn how to sew and weave and create things to go into business, to earn an income, live independently or have a say in their households.
There are many such examples in Narig's book. But textile work isn't solely for women. Gary Tyler went to jail at age 16 for a murder he didn't commit, and writes about his experience in his book, Stitching Freedom, a true story of injustice, defiance, and hope in Angola prison. He was finally released from prison after 42 years and says that learning how to sew and quilt helped him maintain his sanity. He first got involved in quilting through the prison hospice program and was skeptical at first, but his friends kept encouraging him to join them.
I reluctantly said, I don't know, but I'm going to do it this time, but don't ask me afterwards, I'm not going to do it no more. So it showed me what I needed to do. But that just only go to show you when you start doing something, you get good at it. You start feeling good because you go to thinking about what you are doing. You're doing something for men that is dying in prison. That once they're gone, they're gone. But when they die, that quilt will be handed to their loved ones, their family. And that would be something that they'll be able to cherish for a very long time.
And then Tyler recalled a vivid memory from his childhood when he was in the countryside visiting his grandparents.
I used to always see my grandmother behind this old Sears sewing machine where she had this foot pedal, and she was making blankets for the family, those same blankets that at night we used to cover ourselves with to stay warm.
His grandmother stuffed those quilts with old newspaper, burlap, rags, and even moss as insulation.
So all that started coming back, then I realized, wait a minute, this is in my DNA. My grandmother was making blankets, and my mother was a seamstress where she was making clothes for herself and my sisters.
Tyler embraced his family's connection to sewing and quilt making and continued these traditions. After he was released from prison in 2016, he eventually went on to open his own art studio, where he continues to make quilts today. His work now hangs in the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., and in the historic New Orleans collection. Tyler is grateful for the hope that quilt making gave him during some of the darkest moments of his life. Stories like Tyler's and Nerig's remind us that creativity isn't just about art. Sometimes it's about survival, expression, and connection. And maybe, as the year winds down, it's the perfect time to pick up something new, whether that's knitting, sewing, or something else that lets your hands and mind slow down and reset. Nicole Nerig's book, In Her Own Hands, Women Weaving Their Stories, and Gary Tyler's book, Stitching Freedom, a true story of injustice, defiance, and hope in Angola prison, are both available now online and can be requested through your local bookstore. To find out more about our guests this week and to view a performance of the band UB40 performing the song Tyler about Gary Tyler's fight for freedom, visit our website, viewpointsradio.org. This story was written and produced by Polly Hansen. Our executive producer is Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson.